Welcome everybody. This is the Elephant Mountain race briefing. I'm going to go through basically through the website, go over some details, and then we'll get you into the race weekend. My name is Noah Doherty. I am the race director for Elephant Mountain, and this will be, I guess, my 6th year kind of running this race. We've seen some changes over the years, adding the 50 miler, bringing in the 6K to this course, and we're expecting a nice big crowd, so we are excited to have you all. Welcome. I'm going to get right into it. So you'll see on here, as you go through, one of the biggest things I want to make sure everybody's aware of, and you'll receive an email specifically if you're with the 6K and the 12K. As the race has grown, we basically have outgrown the park's parking, the Cape Creek Regional Park, and as a result, we've had to start overflow parking with shuttles, which is something now at I think about 4 or 5 of the races that I do with the Dirt Series, we've had to do the same thing in order to be able to keep allowing the race to grow and get all of you awesome people out there to join us. So I'll look at the map here on the website. You can kind of see, and this is just at the very top of the website for everybody to go take a look at. But so on the right here, where it's in kind of purple, this is the start-finish area. This is Ramadas 2 and 3. That's where you'll start, you'll finish. And this is the main park road. The actual gate is somewhere right in here, the entrance to the park. But this is how you're going to have to park. It's called the Cave Creek Memorial Arena, which is their rodeo grounds. And the actual parking, here I can show you a little closer map here. A little bit easier to see on this. This is from the park as well. So up here in the top left, you'll see Memorial Arena. And then we have all this parking here. There's about 200 spaces. So down at the bottom here is where Carefree Highway is. This is Cloud Road, but just below the map is Carefree Highway, where you'd probably be coming from, depending on where you live. And then you have to access this from Cloud Road and then 128th Street. On the link, or on the website, there's a link directly to this point at this arrow. This is where you access the parking. So you'll come up 128th, come in here, and then we just park in this area. The shuttle will pull in somewhere here, depending on how he can maneuver. It's just a big school bus. Come in, pick you up, and then he'll drive you back around. It's 2.7 miles, including the distance inside the park, back to the start line. So it's very quick. The only thing that's going to take time is loading you guys and girls, and then getting through the entrance booth. So, but with the bus, hopefully they can put you in the right lane and make it a little bit quicker. So it should be a fast process. It's just important we need to do this because we won't have parking otherwise, and then there's still other users at the park that we have to be cognizant of and kind of share the park, even though this is our race. So this is the off-site parking, and like I said, it's just outside, and I appreciate your patience and attention to that. That's the 612, 6K, and 12K. So that's that, and I will send an email just to make sure people see it, and then hopefully carpool if you can, and then we will get as many people in spots as possible. So all right, moving on here, we have, distances anywhere from 6K to a 50 miler. Like I said, the 50 miler is a pretty epic course where in the past, everybody turned around at Spur Cross, which was cool in and of itself, where everybody, or the 35K and 50K got to go all the way to Spur Cross, connecting both Cave Creek Regional and Spur Cross, which is a pretty cool thing. You go kind of run right at the foot of the Elephant Mountain, the aptly named Elephant Mountain, on your way down, crossing Cave Creek, the actual river, and then turn around. Now the 50 miler gets to go all the way up into Seven Springs, which is just a pretty epic backcountry area, and we are super stoked to have you guys explore that and experience it. I'll get more into the details of that as we go on, but it's something, while it's incredible, you also have to be prepared for it, or it can be miserable. So we want to make sure you go into that section leaving Spur Cross prepared for long stretches, fully exposed, with nobody out there to assist you. So just make sure you're ready to go for that, and make sure you enjoy yourself. Let's see here. We'll go through. If I go, there's 2 options for pickup. Lately we've been doing our packet pickups at the warehouse, our Aravaipa warehouse, and that allows us to do longer hours and kind of which is beneficial to you all, as we've seen from the numbers coming here. So anytime from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., you'll drive through. We kind of have a horseshoe parking area. You drive through one, drive out the other, and just kind of honk to Erin, or if she's outside, you can just wave to her, get your bib, whatever else, and then be on your way. Friday or Saturday at the park, we'll do the same thing, starting at 5:15 with the 50 miler starting at 6, and then everybody kind of fast and furious from 7 to 8:30. All the other distances will be starting. Moving down here, talk about cupless. We're doing cupless still. This has become kind of a altered cupless situation because of COVID, where before we had gotten pretty good about not allowing any cups or anything, no soda cups, anything like that. With COVID, everything, nobody wanted to touch anything. So there are still some of those single serving items you'll see on our aid station, which makes it fast and, you know, less contact, which is still kind of our goal as we navigate this COVID-19 situation almost 2 years later here. Okay, moving on. Crews and pacers. Crews. So at the start line, we welcome crews there to hang out, which is also the finish. Ramadas 2 and 3. If you have a family, there's playground right there. I think I have a map pulled up I can show you. So this is how our start and finish looks. Yeah, you can see it. So this is where the main parking is. This is where the buses will kind of pull in and out for the 6K and 12K. They'll kind of pull in, just like Thriller Thrasher. If anybody's run Cape Creek Thriller in December, we have buses for that as well. And that same thing. So you pull in, get dropped off, the bus leaves. Then this is our start-finish area. The main aid is under these permanent ramadas. This is our medical, is down under this ramada in the bottom. And actually, kind of funny, this is set up for our event here on Google Maps, so Caltopo technically. So this is our beer garden, the 20 by 20 in the lot. Here's our restrooms where they'll be. This year, we'll have the registration and store down here. Can you see my, yeah, you can kind of see it. Kind of down just past this little red button in the parking lot. It seems to work pretty well there. And now, this is how all runners will start here. We'll be on this cement pad in between these two permanent ramadas, and then you'll kind of go right up here. Actually, it's just to the left of this fire pit. You run up, and then you run up the sidewalk, and then you'll cross right here just like this in this parking area, and then you run up on the edge of the road. We'll have it coned off, and then you cut right back in on this trail, and then from there you just follow this trail up. And you just kind of follow the signs. But this is a way we've had to do it because as we've grown, it just doesn't fit there. And this kind of creates a separation for starts and finishes. So everybody will start on this pad, run up this cement. You'll just follow this road up here. And then as soon as you get to the first single track, you'll take a left and then continue on your road. This is the playground I was talking about. It's a really cool playground for kids and stuff. If parents want to bring them to hang out while their other runner is going on. Let's see here. Go back to the other page. Yeah, so crews and pacers are welcome at the start-finish. So they can also go to the Spur Cross aid. That's about a 30-minute drive, and just a short walk down to the aid station. There's a gate there, so you have to get out of the car in the main parking and walk down and access it that way. And then you can, for the 50 milers, you can also go to Seven Springs, which is also a very cool area out there. It is about an hour drive with a good amount of miles on a dirt road. The roads aren't rough by any means. They're bumpy maybe, but not as far as like high clearance 4-wheel drive. You don't need that. I will say when you get to Seven Springs, there are 2 river crossings that are probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches deep, and you're on a cement pad. So they've like laid cement so that it doesn't wash out, but then you have to drive over that cement pad. So it's a pretty safe in regards to that. And then the water is 3 or 4 or 5 inches deep maybe. But just keep that in mind if you do go out there, that you will definitely be crossing those 2 rivers, creeks, whatever, in that section there right before the aid. So that's crews, pacers. Again, there's no pacers in the 50K. You are pretty much gone for the first 23 miles, and then you're back. You'll come back into the finish to go out and do basically the 12K loop, a little bit less than the 12K. That'll get you your finish. So there are no pacers for the 50K. And then in the 50 mile, you can start all the way up at Seven Springs, and they can run back to Spur Cross with you, and then from Spur Cross to the finish. same thing as always with the pacers, one pacer at a time, no muling, so you carry your own stuff. And they're just there to make sure you get to the finish and get that buckle or that award. Cutoffs, we'll kind of, I don't want to go into too much of this, kind of self-explanatory. The early one is important just because of how far you're going in the next two cutoffs, like out to Seven Springs and then back to Spur Cross. So I know this seems like a really early cutoff in the morning, early on in your race, but we just need to make sure you're on pace, because this section from the start to Spur Cross, while there is a decent amount of climbing early on, is not that difficult compared to what you're about to go on from Spur Cross to Seven Springs and then back. So you really need to make sure you're ahead of this cutoff so that you can get to this cutoff and back to Spur Cross by 6. In the past, it's been pretty successful for people. You just need to make sure you're keeping that in mind and just keep moving. Remember, it's a trail run. You need to get back to that finish line. 50K, 35K, 22K. We basically there's no cutoffs except for staying ahead of the 50-mile cutoff. So wherever you see 50-mile cutoffs, except for this Spur Cross one in the morning, this would be the Spur Cross 2 you would stay in front of. So as long as you get there, you're fine. So you pretty much have all day to do your distance. Just make sure you stay ahead of those afternoon 50-mile cutoffs and also get to the finish. Drop bags, we have drop bags at Spur Cross as well. That is just for the 50K and 50 milers. Those need to be dropped at 7 so we can make sure we get them out there in time for the runners with the drive and pickup and everything, and us getting through the gate and all that fun stuff. So, and then that's 50K, 50 mile, and then there's also Seven Springs drop bags, which they'll take out there, and you have those. So 2 big things with those drop bags are, 1, if you don't like to run with extra water and nutrition, dropping stuff at Spur Cross, your Spur Cross 1 would be a great place to do it, because then you're going to go on 2 long stretches where you can put on a pack or get an extra water bottle or a fanny pack with food and stuff like that. Bring that on your Seven Springs loop and then drop it again at Spur Cross and then complete your race from there, or just keep it however you feel it. But make sure you don't get stuck out there running out of water. Please don't run out of water in that section if you can absolutely avoid it, which with drop bags, you should be able to do that. So we don't want to have people running with 1 water bottle, even though the weather's going to be awfully nice. We just need to make sure you guys are all prepared and get from point A to point B and have a good time out there. Carrying a little extra water is not going to slow you down that much, but running out of water will slow you down a lot. So just please keep that in mind. The other thing would be a headlamp. So when you're getting back to Spur Cross, if it's going to be close to 6, I would definitely have a headlamp at Seven Springs or carry it with you the whole time, because you are going to start with a headlamp. Your race starts at 6 a.m. It will be pitch black still. So you're going to need a headlamp to start. So either you keep it on you or you have another one prepared if you drop it off for some reason, to make sure you don't get stuck in the dark, either coming into Spur Cross, because if you're running late, or leaving Spur Cross towards the finish. So keep all of that in mind. 35K, there are no drop bags for you at Spur Cross, so just go out. That's about 10, 11 miles. Make your trip straight back, okay? Volunteers, I'll go over. Volunteers, we love you and we need you, and we appreciate all the help people give us. We had a few cancellations last night, actually. This be Tuesday, Wednesday, and they are at aid stations. This is a great opportunity if people want to pick up some race credits. Go help out. You can see your runner on course when you're volunteering. None of the shifts of people that had to back out are that long, so it's not a huge investment in time, but we would really appreciate it. You can go onto our website and check here, or aravaiparunning.com, and check out volunteers there. We do have, definitely want to mention Athletico. This is a physical therapy company in the area that specializes in endurance events. So Matthew Hamilton is one of the runners who you'll probably see out there. He's usually is out there with a tent. They will have a tent out there offering free stretching and consults, just like 5-minute, kind of get you under their tent, see what's going on, and keep you loose after your race. So stop by Athletico Physical Therapy. They're our entire spring dirt series, so you may have already seen them if you've been with us the first couple races in January. Beer garden, we do have a beer garden again. So that is going to be a Huss Brewing as usual, kind of provides the beer. And we are super grateful for that. Our charity is the Arizona Trail Association, which, as you probably know, is a 800+ mile trail that goes from Mexico all the way to Canada. And it has become, or not Canada, Utah, excuse me. It'd be a lot more than 800 miles to go to Canada. But either way, that's our charity partner. Please hang out, drink a beer, support a good cause, and cheer on your other runners as they finish. MedStar, this is the same medical company we always have. There is a phone number here in case you guys wanted to program it in. It's on the 50-mile bibs. I don't think it's on the shorter distance bibs, but it's always a good number. They're our company every single race. Just in case you see somebody in trouble, important things are bib number, maybe a first and last name if you do come across a runner. The bib number is very helpful, as well as mileage where you see that runner, if they're in trouble or not. So we appreciate it, and just keep that in mind. Okay, I'm going to talk about course signs right now, because I know this has been a lot of long distance talk, so I want to talk about the short distances as well, because you also have a really fun courses, and I want you guys to have a good time out there, and also make sure you go the right route. So this is the main course park. So the course map, this is in the park. This big circle is where I was showing you for your start line, which is this. This is kind of where that circle is there. And your 6K, you're going to have these orange signs, little orange, and it says 6K. The advantage to our signs is every distance is labeled. So it'll actually say 6K, 12K, 22K, and it'll be colored, and it usually matches your bib. So if you are running the 35K, you'll have a yellow bib. If you're running a 50K, you'll have a red bib, okay? White for the 50 milers, and it'll say 50 mile on it, okay? So keep that in mind on these when you're at night. You probably can't see it, but there's a let's see if that's a little bit better there. Sorry, guys. There's like reflective strips. So at night, it'll shine on your headlamp, or in early morning. Here's another view of these, if that makes it a little bit easier to see on that. So here's our colors. And then just keep an eye. I can't stress this enough. With 5 different distances out there, make sure that you are the one checking every single junction and not just following runners as they go through, because unfortunately they're not always right. So make sure that you're checking every junction and knowing exactly where you are on course to make sure that you run the prescribed distance and make it back to the finish. Ribbons, really quick. We use the same ribbons every time. I'll also go over this on race day, but just to kind of give you a quick briefing. Orange and black polka dot, that is the correct way. Orange and black polka dot is the right way. Underneath it, we have reflective medallions, similar to on the signs. These hang from a tree or a bush, and they shine like a headlamp almost in the night, and it works really well in the dark. So that is very helpful. Look for those throughout. There's also orange pin flags that'll be in the ground, and those are orange and black and have an Aravaipa stamp on them, so you'll know they're ours and not some sort of surveying or landscaping pins. Wrong way ribbon, this would be the only other ribbon you'd see out there. This is blue and white checker. Blue and white checker is the wrong way, or as we like to say, check yourself, turn around, and find that orange and black polka dot, okay? So anyway, as you're going through, it's very important, like early on, this little, you can see everything kind of converges here, and there's a decision point where people are going up, and then the 6K is going across on Go John, and these are both Go John right here. So it's kind of, this is the Go John loop, which is what the 12K gets to do, and all the other distances get to do these courses, but they're super fun, really nice trails, and this is a pretty incredible downhill going down Quartz and on Slade back to the finish. So just keep an eye on your courses, make sure you're looking at signs, and make sure you're paying attention, and then I'll go back up here. I'm messing up my screens on you guys, sorry. So this is what I was saying. This is the Go John. This is the part where they all converge here. So from the finish, there's like a decision point, multiple decision points in this very beginning of your race. And then again here, very important for the 6K, you're the only ones that go right at the Go John parking lot, where everybody else is going straight up this big climb. You're the only ones that go this way. Otherwise, you're doing 12K. So just keep that in mind. If you start to climb this big hill, you need to make sure you go right and follow these 6K up Go John to the Quartz Trail. And this is like a really awesome descent that I was talking about. So I don't want to go too much into this. You kind of just have to do your homework on it and pay attention during race day, and then you should be fine. We'll do our best to mark everything and go on from there. One other thing I will mention, I talked about this. This is on the website, and I just need to make sure that people are aware. So on the 50K course, the 50K goes out and then comes back into the finish, like I was saying, at mile 22, 23. And in the past, we had you run back out of the park. So you would come into the finish, go back up this red line all the way to Go John aid station, which is this square. And then you had to come back and then go out. So there's like an out and back to the aid station, and then you continue on this Go John loop. Now we are not having you do that out and back. So when you get to this point, the first time through, you're going to go left because you have to go all the way to Spur Cross. So very important, when you're going to come down this hill, and then on the left-hand side, this goes for anybody leaving the park early on, there's a white fence, like a horse gate, and you have to jump over it. It's just like a low hanging fence. Jump over that, continue out to Go John, Spur Cross, Rogers Creek, all of those. That is the first time through for the 50K. The second time through, you'll climb up Go John, you kind of descend down, and as you come to this, it's almost like a horseshoe. You'll be coming downhill, and then you just turn right and stay on Go John, and then you climb right back up, and then you continue on this loop. Why? It was, honestly, the 50K is long, and it's just not really necessary, to be honest. It's only about 7 miles, 7.5 at most, without an aid station. So, and it's to the finish, so I feel like you guys can handle it. And this is not, frankly, the most beautiful section going through here. It's cool, and it's part of the Maricopa Trail. But anyway, we cut it off, and it gets it closer to a true 50K, where before it was almost 32.5 miles sometimes, depending on watches and everything else. So kind of in short, repeating that, is the 50K, you go all the way out to Spur Cross like this. You go all the way to here, come back, you come into the finish, and then you go back out, and then you just loop straight around Go John. Okay, so you don't have to hit Go John the second time. You just carry on. So I don't want to go into too much more here. The parking, kind of just, it's where you can park. We'll have the spots that you can't park in blocked off. So the horse parking lot, we can't park in. The visitor center, as always, we can't park in. This is all on the website. One thing I will mention, because I did talk about course markings below there, is this park is known for its equestrians. So a lot of horses out there, and they do horse tours. So there's a lot of beginner horse riders. We have to yield to them, right? So if you know, like, the order of operation on the course, horses always have the right of way. So a runner, whether you're racing, whether you're being chased by another runner, you have to yield for them. Make sure you're off the trail or whatever it is to make them comfortable. So, because if somebody gets thrown from a horse, that's a big deal for both that person, our company, you, everybody. So just be courteous of them as you're passing. We understand it's a race. We understand all of that factor, but we still have to share the trails. And that is an important factor to keep in mind at this park, because lots and lots of horses out there. I think that's just about it. Like I said, this is getting a little long already. I just wanted to go over a few things. The parking is important. The 50K change to the course. Everybody else's course is the same. So everything on the website that you've studied just immensely, I'm sure, is good to go. And your parking arrival experience, just make sure, it's always a line at the entrance booth, because they can only greet so many people and take money at so much at a time. And also the overflow parking. So make sure you give yourself a few extra minutes to park, and then come hang out. Have a beer at the beer garden, charity beer garden, and hang out and cheer on your other runners. And we appreciate you guys joining us. So it's going to be a gorgeous day out there on Saturday, and we look forward to seeing you. Thank you very much.